I'm River Spencer, an interior designer based in New Orleans, Louisiana, and today I'm going to give you an art tour of my home and share with you some of my most beloved pieces of art that I've curated over the years. I'll start with my Alexis Walter. Alexis is a New Orleans artist who does mainly contemporary pieces that have a lot of lighter colors in them. She did tell me one time that in all of her pieces, she hides a little bit of red, yellow, and black somewhere in the base, even though most of her pieces are lighter in color. I've worked with Alexis a lot over the years. She's a lovely person as well as a wonderful artist. Interestingly enough, the piece that's over my bathtub was a housewarming present, not for this house, but the house before. The next piece that I want to talk about is my Hunt Sloanham. It is a bright fuchsia portrait of the Queen of England, and I actually bought it from Martine Chassagne Gallery, which is a local gallery in the CBD, and Martine is wonderful. I've worked with her a lot with clients. Hunt obviously is one of the most well-known artists in Louisiana, and he's known mostly for his bunnies and his finches. While I don't have a bunny, I did think that the Queen of England was unique, and I loved that it was like hot pink. The next piece of art in my bedroom is a small Denis Lebec, which was actually the first piece that Guy and I purchased together as a couple. The artist is from Brittany in France and is most well known for seascapes and landscapes of that area. The interesting thing about the painting that we have, Lebec is known for like having bright red or bright yellow backdrops, and ours is more of a subdued backdrop. The next piece of art that's also in our primary bedroom is a portrait of Birdie, and if you've been a follower for a while, you probably know that we have the same artist, Jason Horton. We have a painting of Busy, our beagle mix, and then we have a painting of Birdie, our lab, and Birdie hangs on my side of the bed so I can see her. Jason is a wonderfully talented artist, mostly of animals. I think he can do other things, but he's most well known for painting animals or doing pet portraits. Sometimes he'll do exotic animals too, and I've used those in my work. But we commissioned him twice to do Busy and Birdie, and also my sister commissioned him after that to do her French bulldogs. The next piece is in my guest bedroom. It is one of the first pieces of art that I bought when I became an interior designer and could afford to buy anything for myself. I got it from Gallery Orange, which is on Royal Street in New Orleans. Tracy, the owner, gave me a special deal on it. Anna Kincaid is the artist. I love that it's glamorous and what looks to me like, bubbles or something on her head. I don't know if they're supposed to be flowers, but I just really loved the colors and I loved how glamorous it was. The Caterina Chapuis that is in my living room is one of my favorite pieces that I've gotten actually kind of recently. I bought it because I really love the depth of color and the way that it plays with light. And it looks, while it's very contemporary and doesn't have a lot of movement in it, if you get close to it, you can see the depth and the layers, and it looks different in different light. So that's why. Oh, and I love the pinky color. The next piece I want to talk about is a piece that my mother actually did for me. My mother is a lawyer turned oil painter, and I took her on a trip to Paris 2 years ago, and we stayed at the Ritz, and I dragged her around to close to where the bathroom is on the first floor and showed her this Toulouse-Lautrec drawing that I've always loved, and she took a photo of it and then recreated her version of it, which I have framed and leaning up against my mantle. And then over the banquette, that is just an abstract piece that I asked my mom to do for me because I needed something there. She doesn't really do abstracts, but I think she did a pretty good job on this one. I like it because of the muted colors and it kind of goes with my wallpaper. The next piece I'll talk about is in my foyer. And that is a dear friend of mine, Kevin Gillentine, who is a local New Orleans artist, but he is also originally from Tupelo, Mississippi, and I'm originally from Jackson, so it's another connection. I've known Kevin for years. He and his partner Vincent have a gallery and frame shop on Magazine Street, and they were my neighbors for forever. Anyway, Kevin does beautiful work. I use him in a lot of my design projects because he does these ethereal sort of landscapes. An interesting thing that Kevin has told me before is that all of his canvases start with a layer of red underneath, which you would never be able to tell really from looking at any of his work. The piece that is above my breakfast table is what inspired me to infuse the design of my kitchen with notes of lavender, is Mallory Page. Mallory is actually a pretty well-known artist, and something fun that maybe a lot of non-New Orleanians don't know about Mallory is that her father-in-law is actually George Rodrigue, which is the Blue Dog guy. Mallory is very talented, and I've used her pieces in a lot of my design work. In Guy's office, we have a ton of artwork, and probably his favorite piece is the Bill Dunlap, the Beagle, which is actually a lithograph that he got from an Ogden Museum auction from an event. But we love it because it looks like our Beagle, Busy. The group of Vanity Fair gentlemen, I think from like the early 20th century, and there's a limited number of those prints available, and I just had them framed nicely for Guy's office and then hung them all together. And then the next piece of art in Guy's office that is actually probably my favorite piece of art that we own is a photograph by Jack Spencer, and he is not related to me. I believe he lives in Nashville, and I got the piece from Fisher Gallery in Jackson, which is a wonderful art gallery. The subject matter is women with their backs turned, and it's of the Mississippi Delta. And the last pieces that I'll talk about are my two Rod Morehead Furies that sit on a pair of antique pedestals in my dining room. Rod Morehead is such an amazing artist. He's actually located in Water Valley, Mississippi, which is just right outside of Oxford, which is where I went to college at Ole Miss. His pieces are just so unique. I've never seen anything like a Rod Morehead. And he does either, I think he mostly does Furies, or sometimes he will do the Graces. So thanks for coming along with me on this tour of all of my artwork in my home.